All right. Hello, guys. Ooh, sorry about that. I had to switch computers. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you guys so much for joining me. I had to switch computers so that I can record this and share my screen so that I can make a reactionary video, old school style, about my last couple of series. Okay. We're going to get right into this because I know there are a lot of people who want to know how I feel about a lot of different things. So this is going to be a two-part series because I know that I have a lot to cover and I want to be able to do it in at least 8 minutes, at least. So if you aren't already a part of the channel, please like and subscribe. Tonight, we're going to be discussing some of the cultural nuances of why I think Black women are losing. And as it pertains to some of the content that I put out in the last few days, there has been a lot of controversy when it comes to this topic. And I'm going to be answering and talking about some of the things that have come up from my audience. Let me just find the comments. I will not be able to discuss all of the comments, but I will definitely try to discuss some of the things that have come up, particularly in the last few sessions, because that's what I promised to do. So we're going to look at the comment section right now and discuss, okay, Black women are not losing, says El Chico Rico 907. We all make mistakes when we fall in love. When we are young, it is either some people realize it and make a change or they don't. By the time they figure it out, it's too late. A couple too by the time they figure out it's too late, a couple too many failed relationships are too many kids too late, and the world is unforgiving. You got to accept what God has for you. My mother passed away alone, no man, 4 kids. I was by her side or by her bedside at the hospital, and I was her man. It hurts me, but it always went from wrong dudes. You gotta love who you love, but some people love toxic and drama. And so, this is basically the gist of how a lot of people think about how relationships work or don't work. It's very common, I think, that women find themselves, especially in the Black community, in this kinds of scenario where women are bearing the brunt of basically bad decisions. I don't know this person personally, but they themselves have acknowledged that this is a symptom of bad decisions, is having to die alone, literally. And my condolences. I find that it's quite hard, and I'm sure that it wasn't a very nice experience to have to be the one to step in and be there for their person. Did you have to reveal? Another person asked me, G43X asked me, do you have to reevaluate any preferences? I'm younger than you, but not much. It seems like many people hardline their preferences, so they increase the likelihood of running into the same types of partners, then blame the other person. I was guilty of that. A lot of us are definitely guilty of having the opportunity to have to learn the same lesson over and over again because they continue to not get it the first time. So this feedback, this beautiful thing of feedback, is constantly telling us that this is the thing that needs to change, and therefore this is what we need to do to do that change. And so I personally had to make drastic changes in my own personal life in order to receive better results in terms of the kind of men that I was seeing. And I had to be very open-minded about what it is that felt right and what it is was right to feel. So the two things didn't automatically necessarily always line up, which meant that I had to get used to doing things in such a way that that was probably not really comfortable for me, but was something that I knew I needed to start getting comfortable with, because those are the things that speak healthy, happy, supportive, and really beautiful relationships. And so that was my evaluation, is that I was not getting the results that I wanted. And it didn't matter I didn't have hard lines in terms of certain physical aspects, if you may, but I did have hard lines on certain things about character that I felt were more important to me than what the person looked like. Of course, I wanted somebody that was healthy, somebody that I would be attractive to. And luckily for me, I don't have any hard lines with certain like racial things when it comes to what my partner looks like. And so I was always very open into exploring the possibility of dating somebody outside of my race, but I am not hardline to say that I only date white men or I only date this kind of guy. I mean, yeah, I'm very lucky that my husband is attractive, tall, good looking, and all of those things. But those things were just the gateway. He's here looking at himself in the reflection of the window. He is so silly. Anyway, so yeah, I had to hardline certain characteristical behaviors in my relationship, and I was very, very non-compromising in those things. As a matter of fact, I made sure that I had the viewpoint that I was going to be non-compromising and triggered if anybody behaved in a certain way that represented a particular kind of behavior that I had experienced before that would lead to this kind of abuse or mishandling that I was used to, but not feeling anymore in my life. So let's answer that. The Color Purple propaganda was The Color Purple was a propaganda film that painted Black men as abusive monsters and Black women as victims, justifying several white feminist narratives that Black women would unfortunately adopt. The film portrayed the married woman Celie as weak, incompetent, and ugly, while portraying the single woman Suge as dominant and confident. I did not see this. I'm going to have to like that comment there. Thank you so much for that. People always look at media just look at the Bible instead of consuming that garbage. Also, and then we have a couple of other things that have to do with accountability. Guys, I'm going to encourage everybody to listen because this is proving my point that we as a people, as a community, a collective, not Black people, but people in general tend to not listen. Now, let me clarify. I did give my opinions about this particular theme, but I was very intentional in stating what was my opinion and what are the facts. Now, here I am going to share my screen in this Zoom meeting for those of you who are interested in hearing the facts. And I hope that this works because I tend to think that people get in their feelings about any particular topic and they do not understand the facts. Now here, I'm gonna play this film.
Families today are headed only by a woman.
Let's start it from the beginning.
A lot of responsibility, and then you don't
Now,
want the commitment.
This is from 1980 something, all right? This documentary, 1986. I was 3 years old when this came out. And at that time, the rate of single Black mothers was 50%. We are now at 72%. Does that sound like winning to you? So, let me just...
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really.
I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the room, so it really male figures are not substantially important in the family.
A male figure is not substantially important in the family. Those were her words. And I pointed this out because this is not just a random woman talking her point or just giving a talking point. This was the consensus. This was what people thought at the time in the Black community, young Black women.
Thinking about
about holding up fire, no sex, my man. You know, if a girl, you know, she get having a baby, carrying a baby, hey, that's on her. You know, I'm not gonna stop my pleasures because of another woman.
What about birth control? What about condoms?
Girls don't like them things. They don't like them things. I'll tell you to take them things out. They figure that you saying that they filthy or they dirty or something.
It's been a startling change in values. 25 years ago, you would not have heard such things said so freely because they were not embraced.
So let's do the math. 25 years ago would have been in the 1950s, where divorce rate, single mothers were at its lowest. I think at that point it was 20 something percent. I'm going to show you the graphs in a moment, but please listen up for this. Let's continue.
Embraced so widely. The strong family was still the backbone of Black America, and 3 out of 4 children had both parents at home. That is true no longer. Most Black children are now growing up without their fathers.
Now, okay, I don't have much time. Like I said, I want to get into other aspects of this conversation, but I know that, you know, what I want to address, first of all, when it comes to this topic is the bitter feeling that I have received from my people on this topic, because we love our mothers. I love my mama. And ain't nobody gonna try to talk bad about my mama. And my mama doesn't necessarily fit into the situation. Of course, she could have remarried. She's a beautiful woman. You know, she was always always in hot pursuit, or somebody was always in hot pursuit of her. But it never happened that she as a widow ever remarried. And that was her choice. You know what I'm saying? Was it easy? No. Was it the best decision? Absolutely not. But that was what she did because that's what she thought was best for her children, not getting remarried. And I was also a single mother. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not trying to sit up here and pretend for anyone that that was easy or the best option. Theoretically, I should have stayed with the person that I had my first child with, but that didn't work out like that. And I'm not here trying to overshare as to the reasons why. But what I will do is say that the responsibility of picking better absolutely fell on me. And not everybody is so lucky and fortunate to be able to remarry and find themselves in a better way and situation. But I want to speak specifically to this issue tonight, because when we talk about Black women not winning and Black women taking care of their families, ladies and gentlemen, it is not on the Black woman to take care of her families. It is on the Black woman and the Black man. A family is a collective, is mother and father. And before 1940, that was the lowest. Even during slavery and Jim Crow, you had a higher marriage rate. And now I know people want to talk about how life has changed and things have shifted, and people are a little bit more liberal in their thinking. That all of those shenanigans and stupidness aside, there is something greater at stake that I don't want to get into in this segment. I think I'm going to divide it up into 3, like I did with the being Mary Jane, because this delusion that we have, like the young lady said, a Black man or a father is not essential to raising a child, is rubbish and ridiculous and flabbergasting to me. So I'm going to show you guys some statistics, and I'm going to make y'all understand. Probably not, because I know people are still in their feelings on this topic. But I really hope that you would lend yourself to the idea that this is not my opinion. People be up here trying to talk to me like I'm giving my opinion. This is not my opinion, people. These are the facts. And this, to me, is not winning. All right? Let's take a look at some statistics here. Here is a graph. The national marital rate in the United States, and I'm not even going to pull up other countries because this is the highest concentration of people of Black African descent outside of Central America and Africa. But you better believe that your white counterparts and other people in other parts of the world are following in hot pursuit in the same direction. That's a horse of a different horse. That's a horse of a different color for another day. Here, as you can see, in Black America and non-white communities, there is a 20% in 1940, 1950, up until 1960. Now, we talked about this. If you are new to my channel, you would not know that I spoke about this particular issue in 1972, was when birth rates went down and divorce went up. And alongside that, you will have more single parent households in the Black community. And it is steadily rising. As you can see, the graph shows here a rise and then continue rising, and maybe a little slope in 2000 to 2010. It would be very interesting to see where we are now 10 years later. But I'm going to tell you one thing, it has not gone that further down. We're almost at every single child born is born out of wedlock and without a father. Does that sound like winning to you? When I say we are not winning as Black women, I am saying not my opinion. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm giving you the facts, people. Because we can, I hope, agree that a child needs two parents. I would hope that. Let's move on. So here we have, I'm going to I am going to find the other screen here. You know, here we are. Here we have, let me see one second. If you guys want more information on this topic, I recommend that you go and read Promises I Can Keep. Can you read this? Can y'all see this? I think I'm going to stop from here. I'm going to stop here and say that, if I think I'm going to stop here and take a look at the, I'm going to share this in the description box down below. But here, as you can see, this statistics was given to Wikipedia from actual National Vital Statistics of America, national childbearing in the United States, 1940 to 1999. And I would encourage you guys to go take a look at this documentary on YouTube. I don't know if you guys can see this one here. Hang on a second. This is, I'm very new at this, guys, so bear with me. This one here, you can read for yourself. The structure of African Americans has long been a matter of national public policy interest. Now, the guy in the documentary talked about how Black American family was the backbone of American society. That is, we talked about culture. Y'all, we are being bamboozled in the worst kind of way. And I go back to the personal relationship between mother and child, because our mothers have had to take stone and make bread out of it. It does not mean that it is the right and okay thing to do. And a part of the responsibility that needs to fall on our communities working again means that we need to start acknowledging that our mothers messed up. And I could still love my mom and say what you did was wrong. It's like that Chris Rock joke. Hey, you can drive your car with your feet, but it doesn't mean that it should be done. If you ain't got hands and you need to get somewhere, of course you're going to be using your feet, but that's not the ideal situation for you to be driving. It's dangerous. Studies have shown that this is what is causing illiteracy and the continuous cycle and self-perpetuating destruction of the Black family and Black unit. And that's what I advocate. Don't worry about my white husband. Don't worry about all of that. I got Black brothers, and I'm rooting for Black men because I worry about them daily. I have Black nephews. And that is my vested interest, is that's my agenda, is that I want to see us winning. And this, my friends, is not winning. So I hope that you guys, stop by again. I have plenty more statistics. There is promises that I can't keep. There is the boy crisis. There is Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. All of these materials, I think you should be encouraged to take a look at so that you can understand what is really at stake here, because this consensus states right now, at the moment, that we are losing. I hope that you guys have a great evening. And if you can, please stay safe and stay free.